Grandma, is Grandad playing today?
Yes, we both are, love.
Why is he taking so long?
He's having trouble with his dentures. They don't fit like they used to.
Grandad, you're making us late.
Need to get those dentures fixed, love. Go see Clinico.
Suze and I worked really hard to build up the business. We're making a few careful investments too. And thinking about our family's future. Our next steps. But no rush. Right now we're just taking the scenic route. And making some memories together.
This is IC Law, or iClaw. We're lawyers, but we're also mums, dads, sons and daughters. We're people helping people. Need legal advice you can trust? We're here to make the big changes easy and the fine print simple, leaving you free to get on with enjoying the things that matter. Give us a call to see how we can help.
Welcome to the Morrinsville Bowling Club. It is Sunday, October the 2nd, 2022, and this is the Clinico Spring Classic, the inaugural classic, brought to you by Clinico. Get your smile on for summer with Clinico Denture and Hearing. And this is the championship match. Stephen McIver and Barry Hooper here with you at this beautiful green that has suffered plenty of rain in the last 48 hours. But this now has been a fours tournament, Barry. They've been playing pairs, they've all been getting points, and now we are down to the final top two teams. And that will produce some pretty exciting bowls, I can assure you. We've got the Takapuna team against a composite team with a couple of real rock stars in it in the form of Gary Cotter and Olivia Bloomfield.
Correct, yes. They are definitely a composite team of a great deal of character.
So we are almost set to go, but they are actually, it's really interesting now that we're down to the money round, things have got a little bit more tense and they just want the green quite right. So the scrim that you and I were talking about in two previous matches that were played here earlier in the day, they're now tightening the scrim down just to make sure that everybody is on a level playing field because it had popped up a little bit. But the greens, and let's talk about the greens before we get this game underway. The greens have been prepared beautifully and they've stood up to the test of consistent rain in the last 48 hours. It's amazing, to say the least, that we've got to this point.
Yes, it is. Quite surprising, really, consider the amount of rain that we had yesterday afternoon, overnight, and even on the Friday as well. And to succeed in completing the program almost in its entirety has been a real achievement and a credit to the ground staff and all the helpers.
Let's just run through the teams. You can see on the bottom of the screen you've got the Takapuna team. Their lead is Bevan Smith, then it's Norm Scott Morrison, their number 2, Steve Hooft is number 3, and their skip is Chris Taylor. Now the composite team, really nice mix of age and experience. Their lead is 18-year-old Bri Atkinson out of Taranaki in her 5th year of bowls. 2 from Cambridge Central, Gary Cotter, who's off to the World Finals and pairs in the Professional Bowling Association in England next year. He will play at number 2. Lisa Mundell out of Cambridge Central will play at 3. And Niue captain and Australian pairs champion Olivia Bloomfield out of New Lynn is their skip. You're looking at me as if that wry smile on your face to suggest that maybe they go on as red-hot favourites, aren't you?
I'm not sure that they'd go on as red-hot favourites, but there's certainly there's a blend of experience and youth.
So we're just not too far away. We're literally seconds away from the start of this final show. Now, just a reminder, the Clinico Spring Classic, the winner of this fours championship will win $1,800. The second place will pick up $1,200, and then it works down there. So there is money at stake and a lot to look forward to. So we'll wait for the bell to go. And that means we are getting set to go underway. So it will be the composite team that will have first use of the jack. And Bri Atkinson will roll the jack and get us underway. So in two previous games that we've had here at Morrinsville, there's been a hesitancy to play short ends, but more generally longish ends.
Might hang on.
Here's a start with a long end.
We're going to start with another long end. That's Chris Taylor, the skip.
But in this case, it's
Takapuna.
Because the jack went in the ditch. He was able to place the jack where they think they might want it.
So Bri Atkinson with the first bowl of the afternoon, this championship game. Now this will be Bevan Smith.
I think we're on the right.
No, you're on the. Well, I put it on the card. I got the card and I put it on the left. Because you're off. You started first. Yeah.
So you'll hear our skips yakking away, and it'll get a little more serious as the afternoon goes on. But that's a fine first bowl from Bevan Smith. So what will the response be from the young 18-year-old out of Taranaki?
Yes, it'll take them a little while just to get used to the green, how much width they need to give it. Some of these players will have been playing on the carpet green, and the carpet green and the natural green do play a little bit differently. So it'll take them a little while to settle down, but they'll try and do that in the first end or two, work out what their line is, and then probably stick with it. Also interesting to note that the Takapuna team probably appear on paper far more experienced, both in age-wise and years of play, while the composite team appear to be quite youthful.
So here he is. We talk about rock stars in the game. This is one of them, Gary Cotter, PBA Pairs champ here in New Zealand, off to the Worlds very soon. He was very keen to have a warm-up end.
Your call.
And he was disallowed. The organiser says, nope, you've been playing all day, I'm afraid.
Yes, and it would have been because they've set the conditions, and there have been no trial ends played at all throughout the weekend for a couple of reasons, and one is to get the games going as quickly as possible to compensate for unpredictable weather.
Let's just be blunt, he wasn't too happy about that.
I'm sure he wouldn't have been very happy about it. So the conditions weren't changed, they held to it, and it's the same for everybody.
That was the first bowl from Norm Scott Morrison. This is Gary Cotter's second bowl, so holding two shots already, Takapuna, composite side with work to do. So two left-handers as the number twos. Here's Norm.
I'm told that Norm Scott Morrison actually was involved in athletics when in Scotland.
No, that's good there.
And I believe he might be a sub 4-minute miler.
Oh, don't you wish. Don't you wish. This is Lisa Mundell out of Cambridge Central, a teammate of Gary Cotter at Cambridge Central, so just down the road basically. Nice style. Nice smooth release.
Very good.
Yeah, Skip's happy with that. Why wouldn't you be? There were two shots down, probably took a shot back at least.
At least one. We don't know what the...
Here's Chris Taylor with a skip for Takapuna. See now, if you're
good try,
asking
Steve.
the question as to why no one's completely on target,
He's got new bowls.
Yes.
excuse me, that was Steve Hurft, the number 3. My apologies, that was Steve Hurft. This is Lisa Mundell, the 3s. My apologies. So, a suggestion would be maybe 2 shots to Takapuna, maybe maybe just
Yeah,
2.
around that, Steve.
I think it might only be 1 shot.
Okay. I'm certainly not going to argue with the boss.
Oh,
So this is Steve Hurft, the number 3 and the 4 for Takapuna. I mean, the request to have a warm up, you can understand, and maybe that's just
Oh,
got
here's
both
Steve Hoff.
both 4s. Look at Steve Hoff. How about this?
yeah.
How about
That's
this?
a lovely shot.
You got a chalk knife?
That'll be a shot at least. So they'll take that 1 shot, Takapuna, at this point with these skips still to do their business.
We know that these 2 teams obviously have played consistently right throughout the weekend. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing in this final.
Well, I was talking to Joe Edwards and I said, what went on? I was expecting to see you in the final. She says, a blimmin' draw, a draw. That was it. Cost them the final. A draw cost them the spot. So here she is, flag bearer at the Birmingham Games for Niue, Olivia Bloomfield, playing out of the Newlyn Club, Australian pairs champion. And this is where we'll see throughout the unfolding of this game how Skip does their job and leads a team, because the pressure comes down to them when it's tight.
And you see, that will have been Olivia's first bowl on this this particular rink, and it'll send a message to her to say that it's fairly quick. Therefore, she'll need to take a little bit of pace off.
It would be interesting to know if this is a lovely bowl coming through, but not enough. It would be interesting to know if this green has quickened somewhat. We were talking to Trevor Lingard, the greenkeeper. He was saying it was running at about 16 seconds, normally 17. And my simple question to you is not a...
I'll slow it down, eh?
Not a great second bowl from Olivia.
No, I don't think she learnt too much from the first one. A short delivery starts. So that's the final bowl of this first end. Let's see if Takapuna have picked up a shot or maybe 2.
God, it's quick. Ooh.
There you go.
There's-
Whoa.
Yeah, well, there's the message to say that the green has quickened up and it's actually running pretty quickly. So if it was 16 seconds earlier on, it might be getting closer to 17 now.
So there's going to be a measure here. See, this is what a final's all about. Right at the opening end, we get a measure
Yes.
because there's money on the line.
Well, I like to think they're not thinking about the money, but at the same time, they're certainly thinking about their own performance.
So it's a 2. It's a 2 to Takapuna. Takapuna pick up a 2 at the end of the opening in this Clinico Spring Classic. So as we move into the second end then, it will be the Takapuna team that roll the jack up, knowing how quick it is. So 2-0 Takapuna over this composite team. And guess what? We are going to have a short end.
Yeah, it's about a mat up.
And we've been waiting for this all afternoon.
Yes, in the 2 previous games that we had, there was a tendency to
Just there.
have long ends. There were a couple of short ends to tactically try and unsettle the
Can I get a
opposition.
measure, please?
They're asking for a measure on the jack.
They are. Now, they've obviously realised that it's really quick. They don't need to put quite so much pace onto it. They've taken the pace off the jack. And now there's been a question by one skip suggesting that the jack isn't up far enough.
What's your read on that?
she's actually looked across to see where the 23-metre mark is.
Okay, so
And they've decided that
Bevan Smith first up, the lead for Takapuna. They lead by 2 into the second end. Well, that didn't seem to disturb him too much, did it?
no, he's moved the back jack just a little bit off centre.
Briar Atkinson, the lead for the composite team out of Taranaki.
Another good ball from Bevan. He's realised that he's got the length of this the jack. That's a superb ball, just nestling inside the jack.
Your choice of side, and it's just getting just past. I think just past either hand. Oh.
So here's Gary Cotter. They need to get back into this. The two of them will have a reputation, he and his skip. And
Yes,
they want to get back into this game very quickly.
Yeah, real gentle, Norm. Very short.
Yeah, they know that it's a very short end, so there's not very much pace required off the ball.
You can just see in the delivery, almost the delivery is held up,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's a very deliberate movement.
Do you call it putting on the brakes?
Bring it down a bit, Gary.
It probably is putting on the brakes.
I'll tell you what's interesting here. That bowl had hardly stopped, and Gary Cotter was right up there, ready to go.
Gary Cotter's generally fairly quick on the mat and playing. Lisa, you'll probably find, takes much longer to consider her
Seeing
options.
that last ball, Steve?
All right, move into the number 3s. This is Steve Hoft, who had a very good first end. Helped them pick up that 2 in the opening end. They're all struggling with length, aren't they? This short end.
This is really quite a.
Down here. Just beat that one.
So here's Lisa Mundell out of Cambridge Central. Oh, stand back, you're in my eye line. Back of my eyes.
Very good, mate. Well done.
That was an excellent ball from Lisa.
Make that last ball, you kitty.
Not a lot said between skips and their players. They just
No,
simply
they're very
give
quiet, aren't
a
they?
brief indication and let the player get on and do the job.
Where's that ball coming in? So barring the single bowl, there have been a lot of struggles in this second end by all the bowlers.
Yes, and if you look at where the bowls are, they're all quite wide of the centre line, which suggests they haven't got the draw of the green yet.
An errant bowl from a game being played beside us. Now we're into the skips.
And it'll be interesting to see how Olivia goes on this, because Olivia had two weighted bowls. Now this is the other extreme. She has to really shorten it up.
Now, speaking of shortening it up, Chris Taylor, the skip for Takapuna, has done a nice job. You'll see another errant bowl coming across from a neighbouring green.
Go there.
Interesting to note as well, just a little bit of a breeze has picked up. You'll hear it on their microphones that are on the skips. And also some dark cloud.
Indeed, didn't want to be a prophet of doom, but it looks as though it's a bit threatening out there.
Stay there, Steve.
So Olivia is struggling with the length. She's not happy at all.
No, she's struggling not only with the length but also the width.
So we'll wait to see what the lollipops say. 2 to Takapuna, another 2 to Takapuna, and rain. I'm seeing rain come down. That is not a good sign at the end of the second. But Takapuna will lead 4-0 in the best in this 12-end Clinico Spring Classic final.
What club are you from? Gary Waikato.
Yeah, and so is his partner, Lisa.
Okay.
It's another shortish end again. That's 2 in a row, but not as short.
And
Takapuna have probably realised that
Sarah Nick.
their opposition is struggling with the short ends.
Let's see what Bevan Smith can offer up. Briar Atkinson, the youngster out of Taranaki, with her first bowl in this third end. Oh, that wind has really picked up too. Yes. It is really starting to blow out there. But that's a fine first bowl. She'll be very happy with that. Well, the composite team need shots. It's only the third end and they're trailing by 4.
It's interesting, the Takapuna side is a little bit of a composite team as well. One of their players actually comes from Point Chevalier, and he's the ring-in, as they call it.
Second solid bowl from Atkinson. How about that? Thank you very much. Norm Scott Morrison, the number 2 for Takapuna. This is a tasty little bowl.
Yeah, very good, Norm.
And here it is.
Wow, it's just drifted away.
Skip liked it
Yeah,
initially.
either way, mate. Get inside, blue.
Here's Gary Cotter. Needs to find his rhythm. Hasn't found it yet, the lefty.
Right again.
Just pushing that a little bit wide.
Not happy, is he?
No, he's not.
You just know. You can just see the body language.
Yep.
Not happy at all. You can see quite clearly, even though we're in the third end, that Takapuna have adjusted a whole lot quicker than this composite side.
That was a bit narrower, and that was a better bowl. And he might just, if it's not going to move, it's just going to.
But that's more like it.
It is. That's more positive.
Up to you.
Don't you love that? Skips is up to you. Deep breath from Steve Hoft.
Skips say that so that they can remain blameless.
You beat me to it.
Get in between those two. You're going to go close.
Then, of course, if you don't choose the shot that they would have preferred you to play, they say, what did you play that for?
Exactly. Skip deniability, it's called.
Still either hand. It's still either hand. I quite like that hand, if you're happy with it.
Anyway, he's committed himself now.
Feels like a sun shower out there. Probably on your screen doesn't look like a sun shower, but it feels like a sun shower.
I'm just wondering whether that right hand coming from the clubhouse, away from the clubhouse, is actually playing more truly than the left hand.
Yeah, that's really starting to set in that weather, isn't it?
Yes, it is. See the coach coming out for some of them.
This is a really good-looking bowl if it can slow down. No, it can't. So we look at where they're placed from the other side just to see where they are, and that's what they look like. Maybe 2 shots being held. That didn't sound healthy, Olivia. So Takapuna lead the composite side 4-0. This is end number 3 of 12, and Chris Taylor, the skip for Takapuna, is up.
Looking good.
This looks a pretty good bowl coming in towards the jack. It might not have the legs. Good line. And probably blocked off a little pathway that Olivia might have been looking at.
Olivia Bloomfield is still struggling with her length. Fine, that's probably one of her better bowls that we've seen. I mean, you would have heard the remark in that first end that, gee, these are quick. So finally, after 3 ends, she's trying to find what her weight should be.
I think she's got the pace a little better, but she hasn't read the green yet. And by that I mean she's still throwing them out just a little, or sending it out a little bit too wide.
That's okay, Seth. We've seen some bowlers throw them out
We
today.
have seen them throw them. And that's a better bowl. She's come in, and that's a much
bowl.
better response.
How about that? Thank you very much from Olivia Bloomfield.
That's more like what we would expect.
So now we'll go to the count.
Could be 3, could be 2.
It's always the fun part. Again, the measure comes out, and it's funnily enough, it's Gary Cotter, isn't it?
Yes, well, he's playing as the 2, but he's obviously taken on the responsibility of measuring.
Who would normally have the responsibility of the measure?
The 3 would.
Okay. So the composite team need shots. And they got what they came for, 4 shots to the composite team. And at the end of the third, we are all locked up at 4 apiece. How about that? One foul swoop. There's nothing between the two.
And the rain is drifting by.
Gotta be a bit quicker.
So the jack comes out and there's nothing in it as we open the 4th end here at the Clinico Spring Classic. Clinico Denture and Hearing, restoring confidence for 50 years. And Kieran, their boss, is here, and he's been here all weekend enjoying it too. Making sure that everybody is well looked after.
And that's a longer length for the jack. So they've decided that the short end is not really for them, even though they've just picked up 3 shots. 4 shots.
Interesting call for you.
It is. I would have thought that if they'd actually done so well on that end, they'd probably try and throw another short jack.
Probably not what Briar Atkinson wanted at all. But
No,
it's
she's probably...
You want a jacket? Are you sure?
She'd be a couple of metres over the jack.
I am pleased to say that it was a sun shower, heavy sun shower, but it's gone. We're back in reasonably fine weather. Nice opening bowl. Again, she's a little heavy, Briar.
Yeah, Briar turned her back on that fairly quickly, and I think she knew that it was just a little bit heavy. She didn't want that. Another good bowl from Bevan Smith.
Been pretty solid, has Bevan.
Yeah, just a little bit over, but it's still in a good position.
Here's someone that needs to find his groove. Gary Cotter. By his own admission, the first 3 ends wouldn't have been outstanding. He was the one that wanted the practice end. Well, he's getting plenty of practice now, and this is what big guns do. They find it, and then they start delivering.
And that's quite significant because he's changed his hand. He's instead of going, he'd been playing on one at the other side, and now he's playing on the
backhand. Going
yes.
to his backhand, yeah.
Yes.
As has his mate Norm. So both lefties have decided to go onto their backhand.
So maybe they can see at the moment for them it's actually quite responsive.
So the composite team holding the shot here in this 4th end of 12. It was a fine first bowl from Gary Cotter. He stayed on the backhand. Let's see if he can make this one count.
Good shooting, mate.
Another very good bowl. It's come in just a little bit short.
Little high five and a little knuckle to his teammates. Yeah, we'll take that. Thanks very much.
But it hasn't created a target, so he'd be happy about that too.
Had a little bit of weight on that when it came off out of the hand. But in the end, it's turned out to be quite a handy little bowl.
On to Gary.
Lisa Mundell. Is that going to come in this inside? No, it's going to give Gary's bowl a bit of a nudge.
It's firmed up 2 shots for the composite team.
Just itchy.
Steve Hoff now. He's going to run on his backhand. Taking a wider approach, but it's quite a wide approach.
Yeah, try it again. So any move the kiddie's good. He'll sit the ball.
So the door's open, but can he?
Yeah, well,
this time
he's
walk
given
through
it some good green and good pace.
Oh,
Good try.
Just sliding by.
gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt just a little bit because no one's surrounding you. A little bit less weight and away you go.
All the bowls are all on one side, which suggests that playing the forehand, they've come across the head. Playing on the, well, it depends whether you're left or right-handed. They've all drifted to one part of the green.
So we saw in the last end Olivia Bloomfield finally finding her range, a bit like Gary Cotter, and here's an example of getting it right. Bouncing start to that one.
It was a bouncy start. He, I think he wanted to play with some pace.
I think he'd like that one back. I think he would definitely like that one back, Chris Taylor.
I think he realises that there are a few too many down on the head.
Answer me this question: why are they not going to the backhand side when it's open?
Well, he went to the backhand side. He went onto the backhand side, but because he bounced it, he didn't quite have enough. It's going to flicker across as well.
I think she's going to get really lucky here.
I think so. And he narrowed it up too much, and by bouncing it, it takes the pace off. So the bias starts to work too soon.
I think the call here is to try and drop it. Again, he bounced it. And look what's happened.
Yeah, so
straight away, it's just gone offline.
Yeah, it does.
So that's another 3 to the composite team. So the guns are finding their range.
They are.
Yeah, well, I did too.
Guns are finding their range, and now it's 7-4. The Bloomfield-led composite team leading Takapuna.
Takapuna probably, we don't know a lot about their past performances, but Takapuna is quite a strong club, and they've got some highly recognised players.
So 7-4, the composite team lead Takapuna after trailing 4-0. And that's, you'd be liable to say, getting comfortable with the green.
Yes, they're all starting to hit their straps. They're all starting to be able to draw a little bit more assuredly. I think Briar would have liked to have had the jack back a little bit longer.
Pretty good.
And Bevan Smith's not very far away either, is he?
No, he's not at all.
So
He's been solid from the get-go.
he has.
So Bloomfield giving Atkinson just a guide, a foot guide.
That's an excellent correction from Briar.
One down to
First
that.
bowl a little bit long. Just narrowed it a bit too much.
So she's holding a shot on Takapuna.
It's another good bowl from Bevan.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Gary Cotter now, finding his stride. Hold up, hold up. Got a little bit of pace on that one.
Good there.
An excellent length.
Norm Scott Morrison.
I'm looking at this one, Norm.
If he picks up the jack, he'll be very pleased, but he's just going to sit beside it.
Well, you wouldn't be unhappy about that shot, would you?
He might actually cause... No, Gary hasn't changed his hand. He's remained the same. That's fine. He's given it just a little bit more green, and it's a very, very good bowl. It's going to come in very, very close for shot.
Ooh, that's tidy. That is a lovely bowl from Gary Cotter. He'd be very happy with that, considering his slow start, and it was a slow start. Now he's in his rhythm.
I think he's starting to play mainly backhand, so he's, for a left-hander, he's actually playing around the clock.
Crunching it. Oh, good
Now, a shot ago, that was a great bowl. 'Cause
Yes,
that's where the jack was.
correct.
Here's Lisa Mundell. Stephen McIver, Barry Hooper here at the Morrinsville Bowling Club for the Clinico Spring Classic. This is the Championship Fours final. $1,800 on the line for the winning team. Tidy for a couple of days' work.
Lisa
one
will be
down.
disappointed with that. It was actually quite wide and didn't have the pace.
Crunch it.
Now he's been asked to play a little bit over the draw weight and
Steve
punch the shot bowl.
Steve Hoff, the number 3 for Takapuna, who are now trailing after leading 4-0 early in this piece, and we're only at the 5th end, and that must have just squeezed by the jack. Well, there's the jack. That's how much he squeezed by it.
Yeah, and that tended to look a little bit wide,
Good.
Try it again,
but it's
Steve.
come to a good home.
So that's the last bowl of Steve Hoft. Is he on target? Well, you'll take that any day of the week. Thank you very much, sir.
this is where skips have a bit of a dilemma, because do they play positively and try and add to the count, or do they play defensively and protect it?
Also, where you're seeing the bowl from where they're seeing it, what's your option now?
I'd still play on the forehand and come into the white bowl and just simply try and nudge it a little bit further away.
Okay. So skips up to the plate, up to the mat. Glasses have come off for Olivia, so the glare is gone. It was very glary, this particular green, when the sun hits it when you're looking out from the clubhouse end. But now that there's some cloud about, dark cloud about.
She's a little bit uncertain about the shot. She's changed. She was going to play the backhand, which...
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Quite unsure.
She's changed over to the forehand, which gives her the chance of actually pushing the white one away. She played it very, very well.
Not too much wrong with that, is there?
That was the shot that I had suggested she should try and play. And that's why it's easy from the couch.
Oh, I'm just going to start calling you the Professor now, Barry. Professor Barry, there we go. Called it and it happens.
On this hand, which hand? Yeah.
So he's going to go backhand. They've called the backhand here.
He has. He's going to try and play onto his own white bowl, which will get pushed through. But it's just a little bit wide. The pace is probably okay, but...
Too much meat.
I'm not sure about Olivia for this next one. Gary suggesting that she come across around the back. So this is a protection shot. It's insurance. Looks as though she's playing that fairly well too. If it can come inside that blue bowl with the white top, it's an excellent spot. Well, that's superb. You couldn't ask for better than that.
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not saying a word. That's 2 in a row that you've called.
I'm keeping score too, remember?
Hang on a minute. Hold the phone. What does this do?
Well, that's...
What does this do?
That could have upset it. They've still got one shot. They got rid of one.
Hang on. Is the measure coming out?
The measure has come out.
Of course it's coming out. This is the final. It's the 3rd time the measure's come out in 5 ends.
Yes, it has.
So it looks like the composite are holding a shot. No, they're going to pick up
2.
2.
Yep.
So it's another 2 for the composite side. And after 5 ends, they lead 9-4 in the Clinico Spring Classic. Peter Portergos better watch where he's walking, because the jack's being rolled up. Our lollipop man.
Yes, he's not hurrying down there, is he?
We co-opted Peter in earlier today and said, "You're the lollipop guy." And he said, "Okay," and he's done a fine job at that. Here's Brian Atkinson for the composite team, now leading 9-4 after trailing 4-0 early.
From a distance, this looks as though it's a very good opener. Good length, just a little bit wide.
Bevan Smith's done a nice job as a lead so far. Been very consistent with his bowl.
I was just going to use the word consistent. He seems to know exactly what his business is, and he's, without any fuss, he's getting on and doing it now. That might be a bit wide, but
it's probably his first errant bowl of the day.
And yet it's not a totally wayward bowl, because if the jack actually moves, it's going to come towards him, probably.
The protector.
Really? I haven't either. And I've been playing for years.
For those in Taranaki who have followed Briar's progress, I think she is from the Bell Block area but plays out of Paratutu. It's fairly open at the moment for anybody to take advantage of it, and Bevan has.
Just a little less pace would have been handy.
Yeah, that'll be sharp.
But that'll be the shot for Takapuna. They need some shots. Mark my words, they need some shots. Here's Gary Cotter.
He's not very far over the jack, maybe half a metre.
This has got a little
Gary's
bit of pace on it. It's going to hold up.
Yeah, he's got a very good response.
Oh,
he will
dear
be
me.
pleased about that too.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Yes, please. More of that, thanks. High fives all around from the team. Follow that, Norm. That'll be the call. Just a little bit too much juice on that one.
Gary's got a second bowl and he's just probably wondering what shall he do with it. Well, he just needs to come behind his original bowl.
Behind? Just sit it on behind, yeah?
Yep, just so it's in line, not beside it, because if he puts it beside it, it becomes a target.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you're all good. You come and meet this guy over here.
Yep, that's the one. He just needs to come around to cover the blue and white bowl.
Good skipping. Just a subtle reminder of what he needs to do. He's going to go in front. He's going to go in front.
That's not bad because there's a wee block ahead of them too, so that it's not totally visible to the opposite side. So if they want to have a drive, they've got to miss the block first of all.
I think that was Brian Atkinson's block too.
I think it
That
was.
was one of her. I think it was her first bowl.
Nice green.
That's not going to be very far away either.
The gap, I'm afraid, I think.
Through the gap, yes.
Who needs to commentate when you've got to skip?
And we can hear the comments coming through to us, so
Lisa Mundell now. Number 3 out of Cambridge Central.
well, that's certainly a block now, so now they can concentrate on building the head. He's going to bump a couple of their bowls up. No, he's not. He missed them all.
Green's good, Lisa.
Yep, Olivia's wanting a bowl now behind the head so that just a little bit more pace on, and Lisa's given it some extra green. If it finishes up anywhere near the blue and white bowl, it'll be an excellent bowl, although it's
Well, it might just roll on. It might just roll on here.
It's running out of pace.
Yeah, it's got to draw around that. That's all really got. Done?
Yep. So now it's pushing the opposition to
What the
play a
cutting
little
made.
wider.
Yeah, if you hit that ball, you'll cut it down by one. If you get the kitty direct, you'll kill it.
So a lot of work for the call. So trying to unsettle it all. He's going to go straight past.
Yes, when you find an opposition or any team member starting to drive at the head, you know in the first instance you're actually out playing them in a draw game. So they're having to think of other options.
So 9-4, this composite side lead Takapuna. It's the halfway stage of this 12-event match. We're at end number 6. This is Olivia Bloomfield, the skip for the composite side, who lead by 5 shots in the Clinico Spring Classic.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. No, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's just coming on.
Oh, Chris Taylor bounces again.
As he's
That's
one of the reasons why that's going to promote.
That's going to promote one of the composite bowls.
That's the purpose of the scrim, where you get a person who's driving and they're bouncing the ball. If that scrim wasn't there, they'd be bruising the surface and creating a divot.
That's just a style thing, right? Is that the way they've learnt to bowl?
It is. They're not actually getting low enough. They're not either bending their knees.
I understand completely.
This is turning into a very critical end. If the composite team get 2 or 3.
This looks a bit more on target. Is he going to cut them apart? Well, he's taken 2 away, but he's still...
But he's gone himself, so they could be 4 down.
Hang on.
If you
Gary Cotter's into his pocket again. Can't help himself, can he?
No, and he actually said, he was pointing out and saying that's another shot, which it must have been clear enough to do because the opposition concede the shots.
Well, I think they've just conceded 4. They have. It's 4. It's 4 shots. 4 shots in the end of the 6th. And the composite team now go up 13-4 over Takapuna. 13-4, and we're only halfway through.
So that gives them a lead of 9.
I tell you what, Bri Atkinson didn't give us time to breathe and she's away. Jack's up and here we go. Oh, Pete, the lollipop mark is still coming up at the end.
Stop, Brett.
Quite significant, the scoring now. I mean, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, but with a lead of 9 and 6 ends to go, the opposition has to average 1.5 shots per end to draw level.
You've really been working on these numbers, haven't you?
Oh, my word.
Well, look at that. Look at that. And so they listen to the professor.
And there's one of them.
I wonder if it's a good habit for players to learn to play quick. What do you think?
I think you can overthink. In other words, you get on the mat, you think about it, then you change your mind and you think you'll play the other side. And if you overthink it, you become confused. And it's better to make up your mind, assess it quickly, and then play your shot.
Second bowled for Bevan Smith. His first one is...
It's Bevan who's the one who's...
showing them how it's done.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent. Now, Gary will...
Mate. Doesn't matter.
Gary will try and just give that shot bowl a little bump.
Skip wasn't too fast either hand, mate. Doesn't matter.
No, just get it close.
Wow. Gary Cotter has found his range.
You see, the opposition, when I say the opposition to the composite side, the Takapuna side, if they bump that bowl, they're going to push the jack back to Briar's 2 black bowls.
So how do you build around this head then?
Probably play on that right-hand side, the forehand if you're a right-hander, backhand, or if you call it the right side, it doesn't matter whether you're a left-hander or a right-hander.
Oh, the shot bowl is that far away. Your bowl is that.
And so he should be trying to come between the jack and the opposition bowl.
Has he got the laser guidance on this time? Just a little bit off. It takes one of Briar's Atkinson's bowlers out as a safety.
Yeah, it's not too dramatic because it still keeps her bowls in play. Yeah.
So Lisa Mundell going on to the backhand. Oh, hang on. Oh, big gulp. Okay.
Refocus.
Right off that. Pretty good. It's okay.
Just go try and draw there, draw a second shot. My foot there.
Now the 2 bowls belonging to the composite side, just in front of the jack, they could bump either one of those and it would probably impact on the shot bowl.
But there's a bowl of either just behind the jack.
Yes.
So either team, I should say.
1 metre.
I'd keep Lisa on the same hand, this back left-hand side, and she'd come down and just play on to the shot bowl. And that's got promise. She narrowed it up a little bit.
Got some weight though too.
Just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I think the composite side are actually almost forcing the Takapuna side to experiment with all sorts of shots, and they're not allowing them to get into a rhythm. The only one really in a rhythm is probably Bevan.
And that's good bowls, right?
Yeah, it is.
If you can force your opposition into the uncomfortable zone,
Yep.
knowing that you're in, it's simple, right? If you're in control,
it's a pressure game, and because you apply the pressure, then it becomes a mental game.
oh yeah. I thought Pears was quite sort of chess-like, but this is now turning into a similar feel.
Yes, Olivia's played that same hand that she was asking Lisa to play, but she might be a bit too wide.
I mean, if they are struggling to unhinge that head, it's only a shot. At this point, it's only a shot.
It is. They're probably not too bothered by the fact that it's only one shot.
So he'll want to get this round behind the jack. He's done a pretty fine. Oh. There's lots of talk going on. No. Olivia knows exactly what she needs to do. Yes, but is it enough?
It's not enough, but it's in a super position, and as I said before, the Takapuna side have to score 1.5 shots per end. And if they only go down, only get one shot, then...
Well, they've already called that end.
Yep.
As Peter's already got the lollipop up. So Takapuna pick up the requisite one shot required at the end of the 7th. So it will be the composite team 13, Takapuna 5 here at the Clinico Spring Classic in Morrinsville. Well, baby steps, we'll call it.
Lollipop man's arrived.
Just in time. And it's going to be a shorter end.
There's going to be a shorter end.
Oh, right on the edge of the scrum. Right on the edge. So we're into the second half of this game now. The championship fours here at the Clinico Spring Classic. $1,800 for the winning team. And the composite side of Briar Atkinson, Gary Cotter, Lisa Mundell and Olivia Bloomfield have gone out to a very strong lead after trailing by 4 early in the piece. But might I add, early in the piece. Then they were struggling for length.
They were struggling for length, and now the composite side certainly settled into their work. They've become consistent. They've read the green.
2 big ends, you know, a couple of fours. It doesn't hurt anyone.
And Briar has matched Bevan's bowl so that they're 2 very good opening bowls.
We're getting a cheer from you. They didn't care.
Lisa and Briar are looking most relaxed. There's another very good bowl.
Bowl for bowl at the moment here with the leads of their respective teams.
So Briar can actually just play on to those. She just simply needs to be very close, but she can just nudge them a little bit and she'll probably have shot.
Either hand, Norm, whatever you like.
Norm Scott Morrison, the number 2 for Takapuna. They need more shots to stay in this game.
It has to be that quick, I don't think.
Don't blink because otherwise Gary Cotter will have already released his bowl. He doesn't muck around. Ooh.
Shot now, I think.
Probably tipped it over for shot.
Just dead drawing there, yep. Good ball there.
And rolls it behind.
Get inside there.
Would you have wanted a skinnier bowl there?
Yeah, he was just
Barry?
a little bit wide. He covering quite well, but it was more the pace as much as anything. I think he could have, if he'd taken the pace off a little bit, probably would have drifted in.
Hand you're happy to play with.
There's a skip giving his player the option.
Yep. Don't blame me if it goes wrong. Looks like a nice bowl at this point. Looks like a nice bowl.
Very good.
But he knew what he wanted to do and what he thought he could do, and he did it.
So Lisa Mundell went on the backhand at the clubhouse end. Now at the scoreboard end, she's going backhand as well.
Now if that holds its head up, it'll be a very, very good bowl because it would take that, but it hasn't. She took the pace off as well, as if it was a draw.
Again,
Did he just say play it again, Sam?
Yeah. It was Lisa tried to, she was actually trying to play with weight, but she was playing a draw weight, which meant she brought her bowl in from the green, and so that's why it was too narrow.
So can he go 2 for 2 here on the head?
Yeah, well, if he adds to the count there, he's going to have 3 shots.
Not quite. Good try.
No, a bit short.
Still pretty good timing when you think about it.
Lisa wanted to change her hand. Olivia doesn't want her to.
Yeah, you're drawing down here. Looking to move that bowl.
Well, she knows what she wants.
Skip knew what she wanted. Skip got what she wanted.
Great bowl.
Look at that. Look at that.
Lisa wanted to change her hand, and Olivia was very definite. No, this is what I want you to do.
Oh, yeah. High fives, high tens. We'll take that. So the composite team in the 8th end now put the pressure back on Takapuna, who were looking strong for
3/4 of that.
Indeed they were. So Chris Taylor, the skip, with that familiar bounce.
Yes, it was definitely a bounce, and that he's actually got 4 bowls all around the composite team. So they could attack if they wanted to, and the chances are they'd come out of it all right. But again, it's a bit of a risk. There's the bounce.
Can't be good.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, he knows. He knows. So now Olivia is going to come up and see what options do we have here.
Olivia, if I were you, I would probably, she's not going to play the ball.
Oh, okay.
I would keep away from it.
So what are we calling here? Where is the shot? We're seeing 2 more to the composite team. 2 more to the composite team.
That's going to be very hard to peg back.
So the composite team now in this championship final here at the Morrinsville Bowling Club of the Clinico Spring Classic will lead 15-5. 15-5 is the scoreline.
So So Takapuna now would have to win all 4 ends and score more than 2 shots an end. There's a wayward bowl come from the neighbouring rink. Another good opening by Briar.
She's come on in the last 3 or 4 ends, hasn't she?
She's been pretty consistent.
So we're in the 9th end.
And Bevan again is not very far away. He's pretty consistent. He's not been short. That's a good green. If it's got the pace, it'll be a superb bowl.
Another 2 good bowls back to back for Briar Atkinson, the youngster from Taranaki. This is Bevan Smith, the lead for Takapuna, who are behind now by 10 shots. Started off strongly, but once the composite team found their length on the green, where they were denied a practice end, it's been all one-way traffic.
Now you see, he could have picked up that jack then, and he'd take it back to his own bowl, and they would have had the 2 shots, and that's how quickly an end can change. The composite team now would probably be looking to protect that bowl and come around behind the jack and nestle in either right beside the blue and white bowl or between the 2 of them. That's not quite what Gary would have had in mind.
Now turned away, shook his towel in disgust. He knows. I'm Scott Morrison, playing at number 2 for the Takapuna side. Fairly straight looking bowl. It's decided to veer off the centre line.
It's gone too.
Gary Cotter's already ready to go. Don't hold your breath.
No, he wants to correct what he should have done last time. And that's not far away. That's if there's movement of the jack, he's going to benefit.
This is a better width to the approach. Might just pay off too for Norm Scott Morrison. That's still Briar Atkinson's bowl, so the composites team, still holding a shot. Now in comes Lisa Mundell out of Cambridge Central. Expression on her face hasn't changed once today. She's been very earnest.
Yes, she is.
Little bit wide on that ball.
Lisa will concentrate on every shot, as does Gary. They put quite a bit of effort into their training, and very, very thorough in preparation.
This is a good bowl, or has it got too much on it? Oh!
It doesn't often happen, but it does. The jack's now gone further up the green.
I've always been fascinated at how bowlers do that, to try and get the length by putting the fingers together like that. Okay, so Lisa, is Olivia playing the game? One in a measure.
Either hand. Either hand.
It is interesting the way they use the fingers trying to work out
who's got the
and
trouble.
I don't understand it fully because
come on, you use it though, right?
Fingers vary in length as well.
But surely the idea is the same.
Yes, it is. I generally like to stand on both sides of the, you stand on one side and then you stand on the other side of,
Draw it either hand,
of an
either hand,
apex.
don't mind.
And that generally gives you a pretty good indication of whether it's, which one's closer.
He's gone on the backhand this time, Steve Hoft.
That looked quite wide from where the jack's moved out to the left, and he still played it as if the jack's on the centre line.
There.
I think he knows that too. I think the skip's sort
Oh,
of the
I think
same.
we might have a shot now.
Yeah, see, it stayed right out on that side. It was...
We got one now.
Oh, okay. So Takapuna on shot. On the shot.
We've got one.
Smiles all around. We can smile when you're in the ninth end and you're up by 10. Gosh, there's some noisy bowlers out in this Morrinsville bowling club today, aren't there?
Probably looking at the next downpour of rain that's due any minute.
Settle down, Professor. We don't need that. Here's another lovely
So
bowler
superb
from
bowler who's going to
Olivia.
just move it across. Well,
Ooh, but who's she moved it across to?
probably to Briars, back where it
What's the
started.
situation?
Still holding the one. They're saying they're still holding the one.
It could be...
They're going to need more than the one, though. Give that a nudge. Go on. I hope you understood what he's saying.
Well, I'm not sure whether that's Lisa's blue bowl or whether it's the... But Olivia took a little while to come to terms with the rink completely. Once she came to terms with it...
Ooh, again, it's almost splitting the difference, isn't it?
So it might be two down.
Two down. Well, there's the signs. So they think, Takapuna feel that they've got a big number to play here and grab hold of.
And he won't with a bowl like that.
No. No, he won't. So let's get confirmation.
Out comes the tape from Gary. Yes, he won't be very happy that actually the jack spilt back to the opposition.
So they're going to get the two, are they? Yep.
They are.
It's going to be 2 shots to Takapuna. 2 shots to Takapuna, and they needed it, because that'll make it, as we go into the 10th end with 3 remaining, 15-7. So 15-7, this composite team lead, going into the 10th end of 12 in this Clinico Spring Classic. Clinico, get your smile on for summer with Clinico Denture and Hearing. So they're not giving up. They're going to fight. They're going to fight Takapuna. They're going to give it a good crack.
Bowlers are notorious for fighting. They will...
But what about on the green?
Yes, on and off the green. They will, even if they know they're not going to win, they try and reduce the margin. Yeah. And it's all about credibility.
Is it also about improvement, incremental improvement?
Yes, yes. Degree of pride.
Good.
This is Briar Atkinson, who in the last half of this game has really started to find her feet and length, and has certainly set up this composite
That's
team.
a superb bowl.
Well, both leads have been consistent once they've got it going.
She's about 30 centimetres behind the jack on that, and so that's an excellent position to be in.
Have a safe flight. Dive. Okay.
It's a good bowl
Really
too
sharp,
from,
Bevan, well done.
that's jack level. Briar turned her back on that fairly quickly, as if to say, I didn't give it quite enough green.
You know, look at the face, she knows.
And that's why when players are involved in a game, the skip doesn't need to say you're short or you're wide, etc.
They know.
The player knows.
Yeah, even at that age. Been playing for 5 years and is playing at this level. This is a good bowl here from Norm Scott Morrison. Is it going to hold up? No. Give a shake, slight shake of the head.
Yeah, love it.
Gary Cotter now.
That's a good green, and if it's got the pace, it could be a superb bowl. Might just tuck the... Oh, well.
Okay, that's opened it up now, hasn't it?
One down.
Yep. It's one to the composite side.
You either draw it off there or you draw there. That's it. You just
But
played there.
But it's very open. Right now, Olivia's and Gary have both recognised that he needs to play on that right-hand side, the forehand, and either come in on top of Briar's bowl,
He just needs
or
to slow
inside
it
it.
up, slow it up, slow it up.
You got three options aside. Our front bowl, the kitty, or their bowl.
It's interesting, he's talking about three options, and that sometimes confuses a player. They think, yeah, okay, I've got three options, this is A, B or C.
Can I just have one, please?
Could be a single transferable vote. He's played that pretty well because he's...
Look better now.
Hey, we got one. Play it in here. She was close.
Olivia's pretty relaxed about it. She says, just get one close.
Yeah, there again. Still got the three options there.
So the three option calls come out again. Just give me one. One will do. There you go. Yeah, are you happy with that option, Barry?
I'm sure the Takapuna side will be quite happy with that option.
And a good line, just a bit heavy.
So who holds shot is the key.
I'm pretty sure that the Takapuna side holds shot, but they've got a ring of bowls around there. They've got 4 around, and the only one that's in the mix is Briars. In fact, they might have 5 if that other blue one is.
So we're at the latter stages of the 10th end of the Clinico Spring Classic. Just a reminder, Clinico denture and hearing, restoring confidence for 50 years, and it's, well, let's be honest, it is the confidence of the composite team that is shining through today in this final, this Championship 4's final, leading 15-7 with the skips and their final bowlers in the 10th end.
This is quite a crucial bowl, because with only 1 bowl from the composite team in that mix, if they lose it, they could go down 5 or 6 shots.
Well, from a television perspective, that would be great.
It would have,
because it'll be a very tight end to it all.
With 2 ends to go.
Olivia Bloomfield out of New Lynn, her opening bowl. Has she done enough? There's that bounce ball, but I've got to be honest with you.
Gary, move out of the way, please.
So he thinks they've picked up a bowl here.
She's not going to play a last bowl.
Not going to play a last bowl.
No, that's twice.
So what are we getting? We're getting a...
That was the Briar bowl.
It was a Briar bowl, so let's just wait for confirmation of the lollipops.
Yep.
So it is a single to the composite team at the end of the 10th, and they go ahead 16-7 here at the Clinico Spring Classic here in sunny Morrinsville. So a little bit of a longer jack rolled up by Briar Atkinson. A little more regulation, you almost might say, although halfway is probably regulation on the scrim, isn't it?
It probably is. Briar's away already.
I know. You can't turn away.
She just...
Learning from Gary, probably.
Probably.
She's probably just saying,
And
look up, find it, and set it. And set it on top of the jack just like that.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant opening bowl. And the more her teammates give her high fives and give her confidence, the better she'll play.
Bowl number 2 for Briar Atkinson. Been a shining light in this final. Once she and her teammates got their length right. First time they've played on this championship green.
Two outstanding bowls.
It deserves a bit of a wow, that one, doesn't it?
The bowls are almost in line. That's got to curl away, and that's what pressure does. Pressure is sort of put on Bevan, and he's probably trying too hard. That's the Cotter bowl, Gary Cotter's bowl. They probably don't want to set up too many close bowls to make a target.
A bit of weight on this one. Norm Scott Morrison, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe a little bit too much, because what is the return in your eyes?
He had the pace, but he didn't have the green.
Yep. Good old gutter ball. Ditch.
Yes. Who's that other? Oh, that's people one down and sitting on the bank waiting to be used. I didn't realise there was another one in the ditch. There's another one in the ditch.
Yeah, some loose balls at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to dislodge the head a little bit and loosen it up. But what's happening is that the opposition are then just packing the balls around.
But they're all following a similar track. The last three bowls have literally been identical from both teams.
That's come back as insurance.
That started out as a promising bowl, that did.
Yeah, so it's on the bank as well. I wonder if this is the final, whether they actually have to play it out.
Well, we're in the penultimate end of this game.
They might have to, because it could well be that there's...
Ooh.
Go the kitty.
There might go the kitty.
Okay, so let's see what he can do here. Steve.
That's more on target, but it's not going to go to the kitty. It's going to go through the gap.
Another good call. So the composite team in charge with the final stages of the 11th end, still to be played here at the Clinico Spring Classic here at the Morrinsville Bowling Club. We've had one shower, a very strong sun shower early in the day, but it's gone away and the weather gods have smiled kindly. They've also, the bowling gods have smiled kindly on this composite team. If you remember, in the early stages of this game, they were down by 4. And then they just suddenly came alive, got their mojo, felt the green better, have first time played on it, asked for a chance to have a practice roll up, and the answer was simply no. Everybody's in the same boat. Harsh but fair.
Indeed, yes. And then they had a lead who really hit her straps, and she was setting it up superbly for them. We talked about a pairs game being a leads game, where the lead's got such a prominent role to play. Fours is the same. If the lead doesn't do their job, then the two has to try and compensate for them. And the moment that happens, you've got people playing bowls which they would, rather than the bowls they should be playing.
Chris Taylor has opened that up for the composite team. They hold a shot. It's Olivia's bowl. I think the purple bowl is the shot bowl. Here comes her.
And I think that's Lisa
second.
and Bryars are the next couple of bowls there.
It's going to be short on this.
Yep. He'll try and put that in the ditch.
That bounce. I've got to be blunt with you. It does my head every time I see it bounce. And look, it's actually not a bad. He might get a nick here. Just help the opposition out.
And the ball did go with them. Got 2 shots.
Confirmation. 2 shots. 2 more shots to put the composite side. That will take them out to 18-7. And they're calling it. They're calling it. So that is it. 18-7 is your final score to the composite side of Briar Atkinson of Taranaki, Lisa Mundell of Cambridge Central, Gary Cotter of Cambridge Central, and Olivia Bloomfield of New Lynn. So there you go. So what did you make of that? So, I mean, understandably, there was no way they were going to... So, Barry Hooper, what did you make of that final? In the end, a rather one-sided affair.
Well, it appeared to be a one-sided affair at the end, but it took the composite team a little while to just hit their straps, and once they did, they started to be more cohesive as a team, and so their shots, they were building on each other's, and so it made all the difference.
Certainly seen some good bowls. That young lady there, Briar Atkinson, giving the skip a hug. Very nice job. Very nice job.
And Olivia has also brought the best out of her team as well.
So final score here, 18-7 to the composite side. Now, shortly the medals will be given out by the patron of the Morrinsville Bowling Club, Patsy Gommans. And she was a little bit nervous, Patsy, but we said just go and do it. And she's pretty excited about that. We've got Kevin Hansen, who is the tournament director, you can see there. Just bringing them to a position so we can see them for you at home on Bowls New Zealand TV on the YouTube channel. And so we're simply going to line the teams up. And Patsy Gommans, who is the patron of the Morrinsville Bowling Club, will give them their championship medals. And it's a well-deserved win too by this team. $1,800 split between the four of them. It's not a bad day's work. There's Patsy, the patron of the Morrinsville Bowling Club. So the first medal goes around the neck of Lisa Mundell, who played in at number 3 today. Then Gary Cotter, who was so determined to get the win today. And they certainly came to play and offered up what we see of this man that's going to represent New Zealand at the World Pairs Champs. There's the youngster, the 18-year-old from Taranaki, Briar Atkinson. And then the skip, Olivia Bloomfield out of New Lynn, the Niue captain. Sorry, should I say the Niue flag bearer at the recent Commonwealth Games. And that's a heck of a win by this side. 18-7, inaugural champions of the Clinico Spring Classic. So what do you make of the inaugural championship, Barry?
I think it's been a huge success. I think they've done exceedingly well. You'll notice Kevin Hansen there, who's a Bowls Waikato board member. He's put a lot of work into the game, into the event itself, and has been a driving force behind the scenes. So it's fitting that he was actually there. I'm sure he had some nervous nights when the rain came and the weather forecasts were pretty awful, but to actually succeed at long last with this Clinico Classic has been a real achievement and a credit to him and his team of helpers.
Well, we'll take in just a few highlights just to remind you of what happened here, and then I'll have a quick chat to Olivia Bloomfield, the skip for this composite side. Well, Olivia Bloomfield, congratulations. That was, let's be honest, that was a slow start.
Yeah, it was coming from the top green to this green, and that was quick, and that one was a push. So yeah, it took me a couple of ends to get going, but I found it okay.
Yeah, I gotta say, we heard you on your microphone saying, "Man, this is quick." And I know you guys wanted a warm up, right? You weren't allowed that, but that's the way it goes, right? And when you look at the score at the end, 18-7, that's a hell of a just a settle down, get the job done.
Yeah, it was, but like my team did it from the front and I just had to clean up things, so I really didn't have to do much.
Talk to me about Bri Atkinson. Consistency. Once the whole team found their length on that green, she certainly shone as a lead.
Yeah, she did for a young girl. She's only 18 years old and only been bowling for 5 years, so I'm proud of her. And she did really well. She was a little bit nervous, but hey, they're just cameras and it's just another game, so you've got to keep going.
Your responsibility as a lead, how do you treat being a skip, excuse me?
So I don't really say much.
You're kidding me, right?
No, I don't. I don't really say much on the bowling green unless I want something, and I let them play how they want to play and where they're comfortable. Where you start chopping and changing a lead, it doesn't work. So I think that she led pretty well, and I let her do her own thing. Just
briefly, tell me about your games experience.
Which ones?
Birmingham.
Oh, Jesus, no. I needed to break my arm on that one.
Well, congratulations. You and your composite team are the inaugural champions of the Clinico Spring Classic.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to Morrinsville Bowling Club. It's been a pleasure to be here, and all the older folks. There's not very many young folks around, but hopefully this kind of changes their minds to get out there, the young ones.
Well, congratulations, and there you have it. That is the championship team led by Olivia Bloomfield, the composite team, winning the inaugural Spring Classic 18-7. On behalf of all the team that have brought 2 days of great bowls, 28 teams, over 100 bowlers, I'm Stephen McIver on behalf of Barry Hooper. That was the inaugural 2022 Clinico Spring Classic.
Hey Grandma, is Grandad playing today?
Yes, we both are, love.
Why is he taking so long?
He's having trouble with his dentures. They don't fit like they used to.
Grandad, you're making us late.
Need to get those dentures fixed, love. Go see Clinico.
This is IC Law, or iClaw. We're lawyers, but we're also mums, dads, sons and daughters. We're people helping people. Need legal advice you can trust? We're here to make the big changes easy and the fine print simple, leaving you free to get on with enjoying the things that matter. Give us a call to see how we can help.
Suze and I worked really hard to build up the business. We're making a few careful investments too. And thinking about our family's future. Our next steps. But no rush. Right now we're just taking the scenic route and making some memories together.